I see people. Okay, so I see people from Cyprus, Croatia, Finland, Greece, Portugal, Romania. Is there anyone else from another country that I'm not distinguishing?
Nico, may I share my screen?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, thank you. I think before starting, we have to clarify that everything, let's say, we are going to present here is related to opportunities for rural schools that are part of learning from the Extremes network. I don't know, are there colleagues who are not members of this network? You can raise your hand, let's say, in the case that you are not from the learning from the Extremes network. It's important to know because we have to provide maybe some at some part of the presentation quite different information, let's say, about colleagues who are not from the network. And also as I heard from Nikos, there are also Greek colleagues attending. Also for the Greek colleagues, as we are going to describe a course that will take place in Greece, we will need to give you specific information on how you will be able to participate in these courses, because usually, as you know, in Erasmus program, the participants are eligible for courses that are taking place abroad. So in this specific course that we will refer as an example here, the course is taking place in Greece. So Greek participants are not able to submit an application for getting funding. But in the framework of the network, we are planning to initiate a specific process, especially for the Greek participants, in order to give them the opportunity to participate. So I think we are ready to start, Nico.
Yes, I think that we are more than 50 at the moment, so I think we are good to go.
Okay, are there Greek participants?
Yes, Sophocles, there are Greek participants.
There are Greek participants. Are there also partners, colleagues who are not members of the Learning from the Extremes network? And maybe they have heard about this seminar from other channels and from our dissemination channel?
We will be taking care of the chat. So if you don't know how to raise your hand, you can type on the chat. We are monitoring it.
Yes, and Rosa, please, at any moment, if there is something that we need to clarify, or there are questions or concerns or issues, please let me know, and please interrupt me, and I will try to react immediately.
Of course. So okay. You are not in presentation mode yet, right?
I'm going to. So it has to be perfect. Okay now. Okay, yes, yes, I will change, let's say, from time to time to between the presentation and the web environment where the course is described. So first of all, I would like to thank you for your response to our call. Our aim with Nikos and Rosa and other colleagues from the Learning from the Extremes network is really to organize a series of workshops, of webinars for teachers who are working in rural schools. So the first one in this series is focusing on opportunities for funding for your school, especially for supporting the teacher professional development in the framework of the Erasmus Plus program, which is offering such opportunities. And the main aim, of this initiative is not just to provide the necessary equipment and to somehow improve the infrastructure of the rural school, but the most important, we believe, is the human factor, are the teachers who are going to use this equipment, the teachers who are delivering the lessons at the end of the day. So for us, the human factor is of major importance. So we are trying to enrich this program with this kind of webinars and support that we are offering to the teachers. So one way for someone to start in this process, and especially referring to a European network, because this is what really the European programs are offering to schools, is that they can be part of a European community. And usually we say that even in different countries, in different cultures, we, especially when we are referring to education, in many other sectors, according to my view, but especially in education, there are common problems, common challenges. So maybe we have also common solutions. So sharing our experience, as Rosa used to say at the end of her great presentations when she is speaking to teachers, is sharing our experiences is the best resource we have. So this is also our idea and our vision here, to organize a community that will be able to share experiences, best practices, resources to make learning better. The European Union is supporting this vision and is offering funding for the mobility of individuals. A bit different, let's say, from the previous program that was really focusing on individuals. So the teachers had to submit their application by themselves. Now they have to submit the application as a school, as an organization, because it's important to highlight the needs of each school, and for the school leadership to make sure that the courses that the teachers are going to attend are meeting the specific needs and supporting the overall development of the school. So key action 1 is offering this opportunity. Are there teachers here who are not familiar with Erasmus program, Erasmus KA1 program?
I'm not also.
Okay. So this is what exactly we are going to work on. So please keep in mind and use always as a reference to what I'm saying in the following slides, that your school, in order to get funding and be part of the Learning from the Extremes network, has submitted an application, in principle has submitted a development plan that was evaluated from your national coordinator. And in this development plan, specific needs of the school related, of course, to digital technologies and digital infrastructure were identified. So our aim is to build on that, what we can do with this infrastructure that is currently is going to be installed in your school. So here are the key areas, because usually these programs have to be related to specific areas of the Erasmus program. Here in our case, inclusion is a major issue. Usually when applications are submitted from rural schools, it is a clear case that immediately attracts the interest of the national agencies, because these are the schools that need, in most of the cases, specific support, and they are really at the need of this support. So the inclusion is one of the key areas that you have to have in mind while you start preparing your application for an Erasmus program. Green Erasmus is the second aspect, when, let's say, projects and activities are related with eco-friendly practices, with sustainability, with issues related to energy efficiency, and so on. It's really a very, very important also aspect in the application. And we have, of course, to highlight that digital Erasmus is the major priority of the Erasmus program, digital support of digital education, which is, of course, the aim, of course, of the learning from the extremes program also. So you have to take a number of steps in order to prepare an application. And this is, let's say, we will move later to a website that is providing all this information. And also, you have also to, let's say, contact the national agency of your country that will provide specific guidance and support in the preparation of the application. So there are two key areas, let me say, that we can think of the involvement of the schools of the learning from the extremes network. This is a mobility of the individuals for training, for participation to professional development courses, while in the second case, we can set up small-scale projects between schools from different countries who can exchange personnel in order to teach similar subjects. So instead of participating in a professional development course, you have the opportunity to visit another school in another country and work with the teachers there and exchange experiences and practices in order to improve the overall performance, let's say. So this kind of projects can last. There is a categorization of the project. They can be short ones or a bit longer ones, and they can involve a specific number of participants. I have to say that the school has to submit one application, including the different mobility activities that are foreseen in this case. And I have to say that it is really important. The national agencies are really looking forward for schools that they have not submit an application in before. So prior knowledge or experience is not, let's say, something that is unnecessary in submitting such an application. So please keep that in mind, and keep in mind that also our team, Nikos, Rosa, and also the other colleagues in the different countries that the project is being implemented are there. They have a significant experience to help you in this process. One other issue.
Sophocles, there is a question here.
Yes.
From Christiana asking, can a school participate in both?
Yes, this is what I said. In principle, you can include this kind of activities, job shadowing, teaching assignments, and participation to course in one project, in one submission. So you can say, I will give, Christiana, please wait till the end. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to give a specific example of how this can be done. But in principle, it can be one application. So this is not a problem. So in the application, you have to define the project objectives, which are the needs and the challenges of the organization. So for you who have prepared already a development plan under learning from the extremes, this part is already there, because in your development plans, this information is there. So there is no need to look and develop new pieces of text that sometimes is taking time and so on. This work, in principle, for all schools of the network has been done. So benefits for the learners and the teachers. This is again something that it is fully described in your initial development plan. And here, of course, it's important. This is what we have to highlight. Is important when you are making a selection for a course or for a specific cooperation project with another school, to provide concrete examples of what you are going to do, which are the key areas that you would like to highlight. And in this way, you are making your, you are improving, let's say, the score of your application, because you demonstrate that you have a clear idea of what you can do. The objectives must be concrete, realistic, and they have to represent really the situation in the organization. If we are speaking for a rural school, and we have to take into account issues related to inclusion, issues related to digital technologies, you can always say that with specific technological tools, we would like to be trained in their use. We would like to have training on how we can perform, for example, virtual visits to museums or to other locations that are very far away, and it is very difficult for students and teachers to travel to these locations. You can, in the case that infrastructure, for example, laboratory infrastructure is missing from the school, you can ask for support and training in using virtual or remote labs. There are cases where some subjects are not being taught in the specific school because of the absence of the teachers, for example, music teachers or foreign languages teachers and so on. So you can select activities that will facilitate the process of providing access to music content or foreign language learning content and so on and so forth. This is, of course, up to you, and you know much better than me than the needs of your school. So you have to, yes. Katika, I think.
It was someone that forgot the microphone.
Okay. Are there questions, Rosa, up to now?
No, only Christiana, who thanked you for your answer.
Okay, so a clear objective, what we would like to achieve in the framework of a 6-month project or up to 18-month project. A realistic objective. I would like to increase the competence, to improve the competence of the teaching staff of the school by providing training in these and these key areas. Okay, how are you going to achieve that? How are you going to achieve? Through the participation in a course, through a participation on a second course, through a participation in a specific course for the school leader, a participation in a specific course for the teaching staff, and so on. And if you have the opportunity to describe the content and the objectives of the specific course, you have always a very well let's say a very nice application where the different parts, the needs, the offers, and the opportunities are really integrated. And in this case, you can increase the score that you will receive. So keep in mind that you have to organize the document in such a way, defining the needs, explain the problems and the challenges, describe the contents of a course or a project that you would like to run, demonstrate that through this course or the project, you will be able to improve the competence of the competencies of the participants, and demonstrate what is going to be the impact finally to the learners. Some important, let's say, parameters. This was also a major discussion while we were, let's say, we're supporting schools to prepare their applications for the Learning from Extremes funding, the definition of KPIs. We have to have some ways to assess the impact of the specific activities. We have to be able to assess the impact of the course to the personnel. So we have to explain that, how we are going to measure, how we are going to assess the success of this project in the framework of the implementation of the activities. Here we have this presentation. We will share, Nikos, with all the participants. Okay, so we have some let's say ideas that we would like to share with you, general ideas, in order to you can use them or no. In the preparation of your application. Okay, so very important, the connection with the local community, the activities that are related to the needs and the challenges that the local community around the school is facing. Usually this is a very strong, very important, let's say, starting point for designing innovative projects in the school environment, because this will offer you the opportunity to have the support of the local community. You can, let's say, establish very strong connections, very strong links between the school and the local community. And I believe that rural schools are expecting significant support from their communities. You know, it's a process that has to move from one side to the other and back. Otherwise, it is not really a win-win situation. So the infrastructure that is currently being installed in your school is offering numerous opportunities. So it's up to you to make the best out of that. So if in the framework of the courses, you will be able to see how you can use the tablets, how you can use the broadband internet that is offering, again, numerous opportunities, and so on and so forth. There were numerous ideas in the different projects that they are planning to implement with the use of technology, where if guidance, support, and training is needed, this is the way to achieve that. So some additional key areas that according to our view are very, very interesting: collaboration with non-formal and informal education providers. As I mentioned in the beginning, a visit to a museum, a virtual visit to a museum. some interaction with industrial partners to, let's say, to meet the interest and the questions of the students. In principle, technology is offering the opportunity not to feel alone in the classroom, that through this channel, additional stakeholders could be with you in the classroom environment. It could be a scientist, it could be an entrepreneur, it can be a local stakeholder with significant expertise in a specific field. So all of these people with you are sharing the responsibility for students' learning. So if you think in that way, then technology can really act as a very nice communication link. Parental engagement, especially in rural areas. It's a very important issue that we have to see how we can engage parents. There are schools where are located in very rural situations where, let's say, schooling is not the first priority of the family. How we can convince parents to send their children at school. How we can fight against the early school leaving. There are specific techniques. So if in a proposal, someone is saying that I'm working in a school environment where we have significant early school leaving, how we can support that. And is proposing to attend a course on effective parental engagement to fight early school leaving. This is an ideal proposal. An ideal proposal. It's very difficult, let's say, to reject such a proposal from a rural school that is highlighting this issue. So, areas for improvement. The course is offering the chance to be part of an international network of teachers. So you have many things to share. And this is very important in this aspect, because for us, community building is, let's say, a way of maybe the most effective, according to our view, the most effective way of professional development. Learning from other teachers, sharing experiences, organizing common activities and projects. This is the ideal situation, because seminar like, let's say, trainings, workshops, and so on, they are, of course, very important, but the most successful way is when you are really involved in the task, you are devoting time on the task and collaborating with a colleague who is facing similar challenges and difficulties. So this is what we believe, and here we are sharing again some ideas for you for possible projects and activities. In the framework of the specific course, now we are coming more closely to the topic. Our program has developed and offering to all teachers of the network, but also to teachers that are not part of the network, a number of tools that can help you to identify the needs, to reflect on the different activities. Here, for example, you can say, by using the self-reflection tool, I can monitor the development of the school community. I can monitor the development of the school organization, the school operation. So LfE is offering these tools. It is offering also a number of projects that you can use as a point of reference. We call them accelerators of innovation because they demonstrate all the different issues that I have mentioned before: inclusion, digital technology, improvement of students' learning, and so on. It is offering also digital tools, authoring tools to create your own content related to the needs of your students, and a virtual community for exchange of ideas, best practices, and so on. So this is the key tools that we are offering. We will have the chance to go one by one to them later in the process. Some also ideas here, especially about the impact of the proposed intervention, how we can make the school more attractive, how we can organize more meaningful projects, how we can demonstrate that there was, let's say, a significant educational outcome for the students, how we can manage to get specific, to develop specific competencies in this framework of the course. So the thematic areas of the specific course are related to the development of ICT skills. We are going to present a number of online tools, access to digital repositories, numerous resources that have been developed for many years. We will demonstrate how we can further develop the school development plan following the open schooling roadmap, and how we can support the organizational change and the assessment of the intervention. Here I'm coming back to the form. Let's say all the information that I have shared up to now were parts of ideas that are coming from us. In the form for the application, there is this section. It is called follow up, and is asking, for example, how you can really make sure that the activities that you will implement follow the Erasmus quality standards. Okay, how, for example, are you going to select the participants to participate in the course? Because as I mentioned, the school is making the application. So you have to select at some point which are the participants they are going to participate. How are you going to prepare them? Are they able? Are they really the ones who are going to make the best out of the course and offer the opportunity then when we are back to share this information in the most effective way? How are you going to evaluate the learning outcomes? Are you going to use specific instruments or just by observing what is happening in the classroom? So if you set up a more systematic evaluation using specific tools, you have a better opportunity, let's say, to monitor the improvement in the school environment. And of course, some obligations that are there, which is as you are getting, you are expected to get EU funding. You have to make sure that you will share the outcomes of this project, of this activity, inside the organization, in the school, in other schools, but also to the public, for example, to the school community, to the parents community, to the, let's say, to involve somehow the local community of the school. And of course, in all of the activities, we have always to acknowledge the European Union funding. Again, I'm not going to go in detail. I prefer, let's say, to have an interaction and a discussion, and if it is necessary to come back. But here is a long list of ideas that you can use, and you can integrate, of course, in if they have a specific meaning for you, for your context of work. In your application. So let me move now to the website of the course. So this is, let's say, I'm going to present the specific course that is organized for between the 2nd and the 7th of July 2023 in Marathon in Greece. So if you visit the specific website, Rosa, if you can please can you hear me?
Yes, Sophocles, we can hear you.
Okay, because I see some problems in my screen. Is it?
No, we can see it perfectly.
Okay, okay. So this is, of course, this is not the only option. We are presenting to you the opportunity, and we are giving you as an example, we are presenting to you an example for a course that it is devoted especially on the key areas, the key themes of learning from the extremes. But when you are making the application, as Christina mentioned before and she asked for, you can include other courses. You can include courses organized by others. You can include in your project, in your application, a cooperation with another school and include job shadowing activities. So in this way, you are going to say, I'm asking for budget for 2 teachers to participate in the Learning from the Extremes course. I'm asking budget for 3 teachers to participate in another course that will take place in September or in October or next year. And I'm asking funding for 2 or 3 of my teachers to visit another school in another country and run a number of projects together, and then asking money for the other school to come to your school to continue running these projects and activities. So with one application, you can cover numerous courses and numerous needs of your school. Here we are presenting one of the courses. Usually, this is how these courses are organized, their content. For example, you can have the description, you have the objectives. So, as I mentioned, it's important to see that there is strong connection between the needs that you have identified in the first part of the application and the objectives of the course. There must be a very good match here. Otherwise, they are going to say, okay, they have different needs, but they are going to a course that has different objectives. How this can work? And please be very careful to that. The needs and the objectives of the course must make a very good match. We have here materials for preparation. So here you see the links are active. You can download all these materials and you can get significant information about how you can organize an effective open schooling strategy, how you can work with with other stakeholders, how you can involve the community, and so on. So this document includes a step-by-step process on how you can implement your development plan, school innovation strategies, tools that you can use to assess the impact of this kind of activities. As we said, it's not necessary to find or construct your own questionnaires to assess the learning outcomes. If we are referring to teachers, to the let's say, tools to assess the competence development. If we are referring to the students, tools that are going to assess the impact of the intervention to students' learning. So here you can find these tools ready. There is an initial program. I will devote here some time. So in principle, is helping you to see how this approach is working, which are the necessary components. Yes? Is there a question?
No, Sophocles, is again someone who unmuted their phone.
Okay.
Sorry for that.
Here we are offering guidelines how you can use the technology that you have, the technological infrastructure that you have, thanks to learning from extremes, and how you can design projects that are meeting the needs of the local community. And here we are entering to the localization of the school innovation roadmap, the document that I have, where we will guide you, we will support you in the process of development, this kind of project. So in principle, this course is helping you, if you come with basic ideas, to develop further partnerships, develop common projects with other schools, and of course, we have the opportunity at the end to present your work. And along this, of course, developing, let's say, as we call the chemistry of the group is very important. So bringing together the teachers from different countries, cultures, it's important, of course, to socialize, to have some common activities out of the context, let's say, of the training, to have the chance to meet each other and let's say develop partnerships and friendships. There is the fee and the funding. This is according to the Erasmus. You can request this for from the national agency. This is a part where I'm going to come back at the end of the presentation for the Greek teachers, because as I said, Greek teachers have not the opportunity to get this funding to participate. The place where the event is taking place, and we have guidelines here, as I mentioned, all the guidelines, especially for the beginners, for people who have not submit such an application before, with all the specific information, with links and even access to the form that you have to submit. Please note that the form that you have to submit is similar to the development plan that you have submitted for learning from extremes. In learning from extremes, the funding was foreseen for infrastructure. Here, the funding is planned for training, exchange of staff, common projects. So you can reuse these development plans that you have and reorganize the content in such a way that will support the design of a nice application. So this was, let's say, from my side as the key intro. I would like to take your questions at this point, and then we can continue with some further issues to be discussed about this this application. I don't know, are there teachers from Romania in the group?
You can write on the chat if you want.
Or you can write on the chat, or you can speak anytime. I mean, it's a dialogue. It's not.
Cristiana, go ahead, open your microphone and speak. Cristiana has the hand raised.
Yeah, I'm saying that for the following reason. In Romania, we have many schools who have expressed, let's say, their interest to become part of a network with, let's say, seismometers, installing seismometers in school and creating a network with schools with seismometers that are will exchange, let's say, information and somehow simulating how scientific research is working in the very important issue of seismology, especially earthquakes, as you know, in the southern part of Mediterranean of Europe. In the Mediterranean area is a very, very crucial issue. So as an example here, what I can say is there is another course that is running in parallel. And this is exactly focusing on the development of such a network. So how students can work as scientists by installing seismometers in their schools and working with them in this framework. So you can have a look, and maybe you can say, from a Romanian school that has this plan, I mean, you have this development plan already, you can say that I'm submitting an application and one teacher is coming for the learning from the extremes course and the other teacher is coming for Seismolab. And you can integrate these two different courses in one project. Okay.
May I ask something, please?
Yes, of course.
Do you have a limit about on the budget on our application?
Usually, let's say, if you look, it's very important, let's say, before submitting the application, to look carefully the site of the national agency. There you will see that usually these kind of projects are varying between 10 to 20 to 30,000 euros. In principle, you can submit a proposal up to 60,000 euros, but this is, let's say, an extreme, I would say. So there is an automatic calculator. So when you want, let's say, to send for training 10 teachers, you will already have a specific budget for this, because it's the cost for the travel cost, it's the cost for accommodation and subsistence for all the days of the course and the days of the trip, it's the cost of the fee of the course, plus it's about 300 euros is the funding of the school for every single participant. So if you send 10 participants, for example, the school is going to get 3,000 euros to organize the preparation of these people for the course and the dissemination activities when these people are back. Okay, so there is specific guidance when you are designing the budget of the application, and you can take that into consideration. Usually, to answer your question, I would say a budget between 10,000 euros and 20,000 euros for about 1 year project, let's say including activities for 1 year, it is something that you can achieve. I have to say, though, that you have to take into account, especially when we are speaking for rural schools, you have to be careful when you are, let's say, indicating the time that you will be abroad, or the period, the specific period of the trip, not to affect the operation of the school. So if I have a small school with 5 teachers and I say that during the school year, 4 of them will leave to participate in a job shadowing activity, maybe will not be so welcome from the review panel because the school is not going to operate for this period. So try to select the traveling periods in such a way that will not affect the operation of the school.
Okay, thank you.
I don't see any other question on the chat. There is a question from Patricia asking, we do not understand what must be the topic of the project we are applying for. Learning from the extreme or?
Let me say, Patricia, from which country are you coming from?
Sure.
Great.
I mean, please, I mean, let me check the. Okay. Let me try to answer. I just wanted, you know, to to personalize the answer and make it more specific. Learning from the extremes is a course that is covering, let's say, the support of rural schools to develop an innovation roadmap based on the use of digital tools that they have in place. So the teachers, the school heads who will come at this course from rural schools, they will be introduced in these topics that I have presented in detail. So if you choose the specific course, this is what you are going to get. So if you prepare an application where you say that I'm working in a rural school, we have, thanks to the support of Carnet in the specific case in Croatia, we have new equipment, we have new materials, we have new tools in place and so on. And we would like to get training on how to use them to improve the operation of the school, students' learning, and so on. Then, learning for extremes is the ideal course for you. Okay? If your interest is, let's say, if you say that in your school, there are specific subjects, teachers teaching specific subjects missing, and you would like to see if you can get support, training to implement this kind of activities. Then you have to find the course that is focusing on the specific subject. Then maybe learning from extremes is not the ideal is not the ideal case for you.
Sophocles, there's another question from Theodora asking, just to confirm, for LfE, teachers to participate in summer schools have to apply only for mobility and not for fees, correct?
No, the participants who are using the Erasmus grant, the fee is included. Okay, I mentioned that, for example, for Greek teachers are not eligible to submit an Erasmus Plus application in order to come in Greece, because this is only the case for teachers who are traveling abroad. So in this case, our aim is to organize, let's say, a contest. We will organize a national contest here in Greece in order to select a number of teachers from different rural schools in Greece who will have the chance to participate. For these teachers, we will cover, the project will cover all the necessary funding. For these teachers, they will not pay the fee, but they will not also pay the other costs. I mean, subsistence, traveling, and so on. It will be like an award. But this is a very specific case that applies only for the Greek teachers because they are not eligible. So we will try to find another solution to support some of these teachers.
There is another question. We understand from Ana Rosa Vilar, we understand the school has to cover an application and register a number of teachers to go to Greece.
Yes, to Greece, or as I said, also to other training courses. You can say you have to submit an application and say that I will send 2 teachers in Greece, 2 teachers in another course, and so on. This is dependent on the needs that you are going to present in your application. I mean, if you make just the application for coming to the learning from the extremes course, yes, this is the case. You have to say, we as a school, we believe that this course is very important for us. We would like to send 2 or 3 teachers. And then you fix the number. It's not necessary to name the teachers at this point. Only upon approval, you will need to declare who are the teachers who are going. At this moment, you can say, I will send 2 teachers, 3 teachers, and so on. That's it. Just define the number, because this will fix the budget that you are going to get, because you are getting budget per person, okay? And this will define the final funding that you are going to receive.
Anyone has more questions for the speaker?
I mean, if you go through the presentation that we will share, and here the different areas, the different tabs that we are offering, objectives, preparation, the program, you have all the information you need. But please feel free to contact your national contact point for the learning from the extremes network, or the national agency. The national agency here, if you come here to the link, you can see the information about every country, the national agency. So they have guidelines and information, and they are ready to support you about this process. And of course, as I said, myself, Nikos, Rosa, and all the national coordinators of LfE, we are here to support you. And I would like to repeat that to avoid any misunderstanding. We are here to support you to submit an application for any course you need, not only for the specific one. Okay? If you have specific interests and you have another course that you have interest in, submit for the specific course. Again, we will help you as much as you can. The deadline is really very close. For us, it was important to share with you this information. Let me say, the network has been established only in January. So we have managed to activate all of our channels already now. I mean, from the time frame of the network of Learning from Extremes network, this seminar is taking place quite fast. On the other hand, I have to say, and I'm sorry for that the deadline is very close. That's why I have highlighted, and this was also a decision that we talked with Rosa and Nikos and the other colleagues, to share with you this information, because we believe that if you use the materials that you have developed for the development plan of for getting the Learning from the Extremes funding, this could be helpful to set up an application for Erasmus also. This is the reality. I have to say. Thank you for the question. From our side, we will try to do the best we can to help you, Davorka, as much as we can. We know the difficulties. So if there are no more questions, Rosa, Nico, would you like to add something from your point of view?
Well, from my side, as usual, I think it was very clear and very, very, very helpful. I would just like to say that we have recorded this presentation and we will make it available. And I think it's important also to say that this year we are presenting this information and inviting you to join us in Learning from the Extremes, but we will keep coming with more training. The summer schools that were presented here are always coming every year. You can register to ESEA to receive more information and go to our social media. We are in Twitter, in Facebook, so you can join us there. I will put the links to our social media here, and we'll be very glad to further support you in whatever you want, at least from our side.
Yes, it's important to say that, as I mentioned, all the information is here on this website, everything that you need. And please feel free to contact us as soon as possible. If you decide to submit an application, we will support you, let's say, in the next period, to do as much as we can to support you in this process. Before closing, I would like to say, as I promised for the Greek participants, that
maybe you would like to turn your camera off if blinking too much.
Yeah. So I hope it's okay now. So the Institute of Educational Policy is going to announce a process for inviting 5 Greek teachers to this summer course, Learning from Extremes, for July, in order to support the teachers to to participate in this initiative, as there is no opportunity for funding for them. So stay tuned, and we will come back with we will announce well in advance the process, and you will have the opportunity to participate in this small scale contest to do that.
I would like also to remind everyone that we, as soon as possible, Zoom provides the recording, we will upload it on the website of the summer school.
So thank you so much for following us and attending this session. I hope it was useful. Independently if you decide to submit or no, we will continue organizing such events, also focusing a new series of webinars will come soon with related activities on how you can really make the best use of the infrastructure that you have in your schools, supporting distance learning applications and high quality teaching. So thank you so much.
Thank you again, everyone. We will upload the recording as well as the presentation in the website of the summer school. And we will follow up with the email you provided when registering to this webmail. Thank you all. And don't forget to contact us with any question or clarification.